There's one thing you can do every single day that will make people love you. Just start acting on this simple paradigm shift I want to lay out in today's video, and you'll be viewed as the ultimate go-to person for many people. About 25 years ago, I wrote to a former U.S. Marine Corps fighter pilot, Ted Roberts, who was renowned for his work with men. Ted had literally helped tens of thousands of men find help and hope through the grace of God. Now, of course, when we write somebody who's well known, most of us think he'll never write us back. Well, at least I thought when I sent Mr. Roberts this letter that I would get a generic response, maybe from somebody who worked for him. That's not what happened at all. Instead, I got a personal letter back from Dr. Ted Roberts. And in this letter, although it was just a paragraph long, he took the time to make a lifelong impression on me. Most of us undervalue the impact our words and our availability have on the people around us. We don't get to decide if we're going to be the tallest or the richest or the most talented person in the room. We do get to decide, however, if we're going to be the most available person in the room. I learned from Dr. Roberts the massive impact that availability can have in someone's life. More than just incredibly validating, an act of extravagant availability says, I see you, I hear you, and you matter. God uses kids to teach us. On one occasion, there was this noisy, troublesome kid in a group, and Jesus brings a child up in front of him, places him on his lap, and he says, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. He said, follow the example of this youngster. Young children don't have to be reminded to work less and play more. When a kid comes by just to hang out with another kid, they're available. And more often than not, that wasted time turns into some of the best days of their lives. Availability is an attitude, availability is an option, and availability is a decision. A few years later, Dr. Roberts was still available to me. We were both scheduled to speak at a local men's conference. So when he came to town, Dr. Roberts stayed with my wife and me. After the conference that Saturday morning, we stopped making excuses and stopped working so hard. Mr. Availability and I chose to be a little more childlike. We grabbed a burger, played frisbee golf, turned up the tunes in my car, rolled down the windows, and sang at full voice. That evening, we even watched a comedy together, or at least that's what this F-16 fighter pilot called Top Gun. Remember, availability is an attitude. Availability is an option. Availability is a decision. So don't be stingy with your time. Offer to those who cross your path today and see what happens in the lives of the people around you. You'll be blown away by what you see. These days I receive lots of calls and notes and emails. I do my very best to answer every contact that I get. And you know why? It's because about 25 years ago, Dr. Ted Roberts got a letter from a guy he didn't know, and instead of ignoring it or staffing it out to one of his colleagues or just blowing me off completely, he made himself available by sending me a paragraph. Now, honestly, I don't even remember what the paragraph said, but I do remember this. I felt like a boss because he decided to be available to me. So what do you think? Is there someone that you can be available to today? You don't have to do it for years. How about just the next 10 minutes? Someone who's contacted you, don't make a big deal out of it, but just write somebody who's reached out to you with a note. It could make a lasting impression, and it only needs to be a paragraph long.